Hello and welcome to the channel. If you haven't done so already, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. I really appreciate it. So, this is like something the politicians don't tell you about the infrastructure when it comes to charging said vehicles. Um, my experience with charging, especially when you're fast charging your vehicle, is there's always line, and unfortunately, there's the the fast charging networks aren't being built fast enough than they're selling these freaking cars. So unfortunately, you're gonna have to wait. Now imagine this: if you're traveling from, just on a road trip, doesn't matter where you're going. If it's significantly far enough, you're not gonna get the best miles when it comes to, driving in highways. And something that Tesla really does good is, especially with their softwares that I like, is that it'll tell you where the nearest. I mean, my EV does that too. The Ioniq 5 does tell you roughly where the next charging stations are. But I like Tesla's because it breaks down the fast chargings only. Because if you're traveling in a long distance, you don't want to see all the other shitty charging stations. You want the fast charging networks, right? And the positive thing here is also Tesla can use Electrify America with their adapter to charge their vehicles, so you're not just locked into using Tesla's network, the supercharging network. But unfortunately, you will have to pay when you're using Electrify America or EVgo fast chargings. But this is just something the yahoos over there in Washington, they're not going to tell you about this shit, you know? And then, like, I can just imagine this future. I know I talked about it in the past before, where people are going to be able to, yes, they can build all these chargers, but the network is not going to be able to hold that kind of load. So I can just see, it's going to be a disaster unless they upgrade the infrastructure. And unfortunately, it's going to cost billions, if not trillions of dollars in order to revamp the whole system. Just in California alone, I imagine doing the whole United States grid to revamp them in order for them to handle this kind of surge in power. It's going to be great. I mean, we're already struggling with power outages as it is out here in the West. Same thing in Texas. Those grids are shit. But still, they want to shove these electrifications down our throats, which is fine. It's gonna backfire. I already know. So Tesla drivers wait 90 minutes at this New York Supercharger. NYC approach to incentivizing EVs for Uber and Lyft drivers face unintended consequences. So imagine if everybody needs to freaking charge. That's a problem. New York City is the greatest city in the world. Some of us are led to believe. Skyscrapers, a melting pot of global talent, a bustling art and culture scene. The list goes on, but among the glorious New York, electrify vehicle charging infrastructure is lagging far behind. And that's not just in New York. It's a because you are going to go to certain small towns that have never seen these kind of vehicles at all. You know what I mean? And they're not going to have that infrastructure, especially in like small towns. They might not have them. They might not have fast charging. You know what I mean? So then what are you going to do? I've literally seen what's the guy's name? Richard's video on him driving the Rivian R1T, and where he had to find just this hotel place in order for him to find charging stations. It's crazy. It's going to be a shit show. A few weeks back, a Tesla owner took to X, the social media network formerly called Twitter, with a distress signal, SOS. Here's a photo of what is happening at Brooklyn, NYC, Tesla Supercharger. It's impossible to charge the car. Help us, please. The driver pleaded to CEO Musk. The accompanying image showed a traffic jam of Teslas in the parking lot. And I didn't see just Teslas. I seen some Hyundais. There's a Hyundai right there. But majority of them are Teslas. Like everywhere I go, it's usually just Teslas have a long ass fucking line. People waiting to charge their vehicles. So it's not just like I said. The Supercharger is located in the parking lot of Raymar and Flanagan Furniture Store on southernmost tip of Brooklyn. It's flanked by a Starbucks drive-thru on one side and veterinarian center on the other, while the street is lined with automotive repair shops. The parking lot, an eyesore with dangling transmission cables and canted wooden light poles, houses 12 Tesla dispensaries and 4 EV Ghost stalls. The screens on the EV Go chargers displayed an out of service message. Oof, that's good, right? Sitting in a white Model S P85 wearing a black puffer jacket and blue jeans said, I regularly wait here for an hour just to get to charging stall and then another hour to get at least to 80%. Fuck. That's another thing, man. I'm telling you, these vehicles take time to charge, especially in the cold. It's going to take longer. You know, the perfect condition for these vehicles is just a nice warm day out where the batteries isn't cold and it doesn't take a lot of energy to recharge it. I've talked about how charging in the cold really affects the vehicles. But anyway, I'm not going to go through all this article. I will leave a link in the description. I just wanted to highlight the this stuff because this is something the politicians aren't talking about. But it is what it is. If you're buying an electric vehicle, you know, you got to do your research and know what you're getting yourself into. As always, make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.